Hello, my ancestor George Felt, also perhaps Felth or Felch, came to Salem, Massachusetts in 1628 on board the ship Abigail with John Endicott. Do you know of any paintings of this ship? I have searched in vain. Thank you.
This is a great and a common sort of question. However, the answer is a little bit more challenging than we would like. There are a lot of things that are, to be honest, that are working against finding a finding an answer. There are a lot of things working against finding a positive answer to this question. First, the ship is just a woman's name. There we When we do a search, which we'll do in a moment, we'll find there are hundreds, probably thousands of vessels or citations of vessels with that name. Second, there just aren't very many paintings of actual ships from that time period. I think that, I'm not sure about this, but I think the ships were just so common that people didn't really make paintings of average ships, which is probably what this was if it was sailing across the ocean. As it wasn't a naval vessel, even paintings of naval vessels are pretty limited. And when we do find them, often they are not actually a representation of the specific ship in question. They're just sort of a general example of ships of that style. I'm thinking of the Anthony roll, of the images of the ships of Henry VIII, which are, I mean, they're wonderful illustrations, but they're not always considered really accurate to the vessels that made up the Tudor Navy. So when we're looking for more common merchant ships, we are less likely to find them. Let's take a look. We'll see what we can do in the database, but I start this with without any great promises. So we found 344 ships in 93 resources. Well, that's not overwhelming. If you search for Mary or Elizabeth, you find really many, many more. And I will mention that you can always click here to see other matching ships. What we have right now, and I'll come back to this in a moment. What I have right now are ships that just have the name Abigail. But if I go here, we'll find a lot of other ships. Say Mary Abigail and Mary and Abigail, or Abigail with an E or Abigail Lee. And if you're looking at these, you're saying, well, also I see Naby and Montezuma. And what we have here is that somewhere in this entry, there is, well, in this case, it looks like it had a name Abigail of some sort. Some of these will have just the word Abigail somewhere in them. We have 630 citations here, so I'm not necessarily going to find it uh, right now, but someone mentions Abigail somewhere. You can limit this to at ship underscore name Abigail to only find the entries where the word Abigail is in the name of the ship. That could be useful. It might not. I'm going to go back though to those. I just always want to point this out because I think it's important to understand all the different ways that you can search the database. Now we're back here looking at 344 citations in 93 different resources. The first one, the Bristol Registers of Servants sent to foreign plantations 1654 to 1686. It's a little bit later than the time period of the question, which was 1628, but it might be interesting. There's no indication that there's an illustration here. But what I can do is I can click on the details or filter bit here and see where we do have illustrations. And we have apparently 3 citations that do have illustrations. I am not surprised to see that these are all uh, modern day or nearly modern day vessels. Abigail, a product tanker built in 1985 in Ships IO. Let's see where that takes us. This takes us to the MT Abigail. And there is an illustration here, but this is a tanker, obviously. This is not the one that we're looking for. There's another this is probably a great collection. This collection at the Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library, um, where they have pictures of the Abigail, a steamboat on the Mississippi or on the Ohio, probably. I mean, just fantastic pictures that they have made available to everybody here. It's one of the things I just love describing in here. So I'm going to jump back. I'm going to remove the filter because this isn't helping us much. What one might do here is take a look. If you wanted to pursue this, you could say, well, which are the citations that are most likely that are in the time period that I'm looking for. Whales, ice, and men. The history of whaling in the Western Arctic. Obviously, that's not about a early 17th century merchant vessel. British ships in the Confederate Navy, also not it. Another one of later 17th century emigrants. There might be something of interest there. Documents illustrative of the history of the slave trade to America in the 18th century? Probably not. Certainly not in naval operations of World War II. That's the way that we search through the collection for vessels when we have a very common name. But honestly, I think you have a very, very, very hard time finding an actual portrait of that specific ship. Sorry.